You see, men often get caught up in this idea that women are keeping score, that they are sitting there with a little checklist, ticking off all the things you do for them. You bought her dinner, check. You took her on a vacation, check. You paid her bills, you gave her gifts, you did this and you did that. And because of that, you think she is going to stay loyal to you. But let me tell you the truth, most men don't want to hear women don't care about what you do as much as they care about how you make them feel. Think about it for a moment. If doing things was enough, then every man who bought flowers, every man who paid for dinner, every man who gave gifts would be in the happiest, most loyal relationship of his life. But is that what we see around us? No. In fact, you've probably seen women walk away from men who gave them everything, time, money, effort, and still she left. And you're standing there confused, asking, after everything I did for her, why did she walk away? It's because you confused action with emotion. You thought doing things for her was enough to earn her heart, but her heart doesn't work like that. A woman's loyalty is tied to her emotions, not to the material things you hand her. She remembers the way you make her feel in your presence. She remembers the comfort she feels when she knows she can trust you. She remembers the spark in her chest when she feels seen and valued by you. And this is why two men can give the same woman very different experiences. One man could provide her with luxuries, but leave her feeling unseen, unloved, or unappreciated. Another man could give her less in terms of material, but he makes her feel alive, safe, and respected. And that's the man she stays loyal to. Here's where most men make the mistake. They think love and loyalty can be bought. They think that if they just give enough, do enough, sacrifice enough, the woman will stay. But women are not calculators. They are emotional beings. Their connection to you is measured in feelings, not transactions. If she feels neglected, if she feels dismissed, if she feels that your effort is empty, then everything you do becomes meaningless. So the question you have to ask yourself is not, what am I doing for her? But how is she feeling with me? Does she feel heard when she speaks? Does she feel like a priority in your life? Does she feel emotionally secure? Or is she constantly second guessing where she stands with you? These questions matter more than how much you spend or how many favors you perform. Because at the end of the day, loyalty is not born from the number of actions you take. It's born from the quality of the emotions you create. And here's the part that stings a little for many men, women can get the doing from almost anyone. There's always someone who can buy her flowers. There's always someone who can take her out to dinner, but not every man can make her feel deeply connected. Not every man can give her the emotional presence that makes her feel safe, desired, and respected. That is the difference between the man she uses and the man she chooses. Now, don't misunderstand me. Doing things still matters. Effort is important. Acts of service, kindness, and provision are all parts of a healthy relationship, but they are not the foundation. They are the decoration, not the structure. The foundation is how you make her feel when she's around you. Does she feel drained or does she feel energized? Does she feel small or does she feel valued? Does she feel anxious or does she feel secure? That's what will determine her loyalty. And once you understand this, you stop wasting time on empty gestures. You stop thinking that you can keep her just by doing. Instead, you focus on being present, being consistent, being authentic, being a man who doesn't just provide things, but provides emotions. Because let's be real, at the end of the day, women don't talk about what you bought them. They don't sit with their friends saying, he got me this and that. What they talk about is, he makes me feel so safe. He makes me feel so loved. He makes me feel like I'm the only one in the world. That's the truth about loyalty. That's the truth about attraction. Women don't stay loyal because you ticked off a list of good deeds. They stay loyal because of the emotional imprint you leave on their hearts. Men often believe that if they just give enough effort once in a while, if they do something grand or extraordinary, that's enough to secure loyalty forever. They think back to the flowers they gave, the expensive dinner, or the surprise vacation and assume those gestures will keep her heart tied to them indefinitely. But the truth is, consistency beats effort every single time. A single act of greatness cannot replace the steady rhythm of daily presence. Women notice patterns, not random bursts. They value stability, not occasional theatrics. Think about it. Imagine a man who showers a woman with gifts once every few months, but in between those moments, he's distant, inattentive, and careless with her feelings. Compare him with another man who doesn't make huge dramatic gestures, but shows up every single day with presence, reliability, and respect. The second man will always outshine the first because women are wired to feel secure through consistency. They don't remember the one night you made her feel like a queen if the next 90 days you made her feel ignored. They remember how you show up for them again and again without fail. And that's where so many men get it wrong. They put all their energy into winning her over in the beginning. And once they feel she's theirs, they relax. They stop trying. They stop paying attention. They stop doing the little things that built the connection in the first place. What they don't realize is that loyalty is not won in a single moment. It's earned over and over again through consistency. Let me ask you this. What good is effort if it cannot be trusted? What good is a man who gives today but disappears tomorrow? Women are not loyal to promises made in the heat of one moment. They are loyal to the reliability of your actions day after day. And this is why inconsistency destroys relationships faster than anything else. It creates doubt. It creates insecurity. It makes her question everything you do because she never knows which version of you she's going to get. Consistency is not about being perfect. It's not about giving 100 roses every week or planning elaborate trips every month. Consistency is about showing up the same way, whether it's a good day or a bad one. It's about being emotionally steady, not hot and cold. It's about making sure she doesn't have to guess how much she matters to you because your actions confirm it repeatedly. Think about how women feel when a man starts strong but then slowly withdraws. In the beginning, he's calling every day, he's planning dates, he's fully present. Then months later, he's distracted, short-tempered, and hardly makes time for her. What message does that send? It tells her that his effort was temporary. It tells her that she's not worth his consistent attention. It tells her that she has to fight for scraps of the man she first knew. And that's when her loyalty begins to fade, not because she doesn't care, but because consistency is the oxygen of trust. And without it, the relationship suffocates. On the other hand, when a man is consistent, even in small ways, it creates a sense of safety that nothing else can replace. A simple text in the morning to say she's on your mind, keeping your word when you say you'll do something, listening when she speaks, treating her with respect no matter what. These things sound small, but done consistently, they mean more than one grand gesture ever could, because consistency communicates one thing clearly: she can count on you. And when a woman knows she can count on you, her loyalty deepens, her trust grows. Her connection to you strengthens. She doesn't have to wonder where she stands or second guess your intentions because your actions have proven time and time again that she is valued. The irony is many men lose women not because they didn't try, but because they stopped trying consistently. They thought the work was done after the chase, but the real work starts after she says yes. Women don't stay because you impress them once. They stay because you continue to show up in ways that matter. Consistency also shows who you really are. Anyone can put on a mask for a short time. Anyone can fake effort when they want something. But only consistency reveals authenticity. A man who shows up steadily, who doesn't change his behavior depending on his mood or convenience, is a man she can trust. That kind of man doesn't need to do grand things to earn loyalty because his consistency already proves everything. So understand this: loyalty is not tied to occasional effort. It's not tied to rare moments of attention. It's tied to the steady, dependable consistency of your presence and your actions. A woman will forget what you did once, but she will never forget how you consistently made her feel. A lot of men believe that the way to secure a woman's loyalty is by giving her more things, buying gifts, paying bills, upgrading her lifestyle. And while, yes, she may appreciate those, don't fool yourself into thinking that material support is what keeps her loyal. Because if that were true, the wealthiest men in the world would have the most loyal women. And we both know that's not how it works. Look around. How many men have given women everything materially only to watch them walk away? That's because loyalty doesn't live in material support. Loyalty lives in emotional security. What women want deep down is the kind of security money can't buy, the kind that comes when she knows her man has her back no matter what, the kind that comes when she doesn't have to question his intentions, his loyalty, or his presence. Emotional security is the invisible thread that holds a relationship together. Without it, no amount of diamonds, vacations, or expensive dinners will stop her from feeling empty. A woman would rather sit in a small apartment with a man who makes her feel safe, heard, and valued than live in a mansion with someone who leaves her feeling lonely, anxious, or disrespected. Because when she feels emotionally secure, her entire world softens. She doesn't live in fear of betrayal. She doesn't waste her nights overthinking whether she matters. She doesn't question if she's replaceable. That security is priceless to her. And when you provide it, that's when her loyalty grows deeper than anything material could ever create. Emotional security comes from your consistency, your reliability, and your authenticity. It comes from her knowing that when you say something, you mean it. It comes from the way you show up in hard times, not just the good ones. It comes from how you handle her vulnerability, whether you dismiss it or whether you hold it with care. Women are not loyal to men because of what they give them. They are loyal to the way those men make them feel safe inside. And here's where so many men lose their way. They confuse providing for her needs with providing for her heart. Yes, it matters that you can support her, protect her, and give her comfort. But what she truly craves is the reassurance that you won't abandon her emotionally. Because a man can pay bills and still neglect her soul. A man can buy gifts but still make her feel invisible. A man can say, "I love you," but still leave her feeling alone. Think about the relationships where women walked away despite being given everything financially. Why did that happen? Because emotional security was missing. Without that foundation, the relationship was always going to collapse. But when emotional security is present, even in the simplest circumstances, a woman will hold on and remain loyal because she feels something rarer, peace. Peace is what women are really loyal to. They are not loyal to your money, your status, or your ability to do things for them. They are loyal to the peace you bring into their lives. Peace when they speak their truth and you listen. Peace when they're at their weakest and you stand strong beside them. Peace when they wake up every morning knowing they don't have to wonder where they stand with you. That is the one thing she values above all else, because peace is the foundation of loyalty. Emotional security is not created through big, dramatic moments. It's built in the small, consistent details. It's built when you don't dismiss her feelings, when you choose patience over anger, when you protect her heart instead of exploiting her vulnerability. It's built when she sees that no matter how chaotic the world gets, you are her anchor. That's when her loyalty becomes unshakable. You could strip away all the material things, and if she still feels safe, cared for, and respected, she will stay. But if you give her everything money can buy and she feels unsafe, unseen, or uncertain, she will eventually leave. Because material things are replaceable, but emotional security is irreplaceable. And that's the truth most men don't want to face. They want to believe they can buy their way into loyalty, but you cannot purchase peace. You have to create it. You have to live it. You have to be the man who doesn't just provide a life, but provides a foundation of emotional safety that she knows she can rely on no matter what. One of the biggest mistakes men make is believing that they have to constantly impress a woman in order to win her loyalty. They think if they act a certain way, say the right lines, or put on a mask of perfection, that's what keeps her interested. But let me tell you something, powerful women are not loyal to performances. They are loyal to authenticity. A man who tries too hard to impress will always lose to the man who is simply real. You see, when you're busy performing, you're not actually connecting. You're showing her a version of yourself that isn't natural. And at some point, that mask slips. Maybe in the beginning it works. You come off as confident, smooth, and charming, but over time the truth always shows. And when she realizes that the version you gave her was an act, her trust begins to fade. Why? Because trust and loyalty are built on authenticity, not on a character you created to impress her. A woman doesn't need you to be perfect. She needs you to be real. She doesn't want a man who bends over backward to be someone. He's not just to get her attention. She wants a man who is secure enough in himself that he doesn't have to constantly prove his worth. Because here's the secret. The more you try to impress her, the more you communicate that you don't actually believe you are enough. And women can sense that insecurity immediately. Authenticity is attractive because it's rare. Most men are busy pretending. They're pretending to have more money than they really do, pretending to be more confident than they feel, pretending to agree with her on everything so they don't upset her. But women respect the man who is unafraid to stand in his truth, who can say, "This is who I am," without apology. That's the kind of man who earns loyalty because she knows what she's getting is real. Think about it this way. If you have to put on a show to win her over, you'll have to keep performing that show forever to keep her. That's exhausting, and eventually it will collapse. But if you show her who you really are from the start, your values, your boundaries, your strengths, even your flaws, then the connection you build is genuine. She will respect you more for being real than she ever will for being impressive. And let me make this clear. Being authentic doesn't mean being careless or lazy. It doesn't mean you stop putting in effort. It means your effort comes from a real place, not from a desire to manipulate her feelings or win her approval. When you speak, it's because you mean it. When you give, it's because it reflects who you are, not because you expect something in return. That's the difference between authenticity and performance. When a woman feels your authenticity, she relaxes. She doesn't have to constantly figure out if what you're saying is true or if you're just telling her what you think she wants to hear. She doesn't have to second guess your intentions because your actions align with your words. Authenticity creates trust, And trust is the soil in which loyalty grows. Without authenticity, everything else is temporary. You might impress her for a moment with charm, with money, with gestures, but that fades quickly if she senses it isn't real. Women are far more intuitive than men give them credit for. They can feel when you're hiding behind an act. And the moment they realize they've been dealing with a performance instead of a person, they detach. But when they know they're with a man who is unapologetically himself, even when it's not perfect, that's when they feel safe enough to stay. It's also important to understand that authenticity means setting boundaries too. Many men think loyalty is earned by saying yes to everything, by agreeing to whatever she wants, by never standing their ground. But women don't stay loyal to pushovers. They stay loyal to men who have a backbone, who are kind but firm, who are honest about what they stand for. That level of authenticity commands respect, and respect deepens loyalty. At the end of the day, authenticity is freedom. It frees you from the exhausting cycle of trying to be what you think she wants. It frees her from the insecurity of wondering if you're being real with her. And it builds a bond that is grounded in truth instead of illusion. So stop trying to impress, stop performing, stop being what you think will keep her. Be yourself fully, consistently, unapologetically, because women don't stay loyal to the mask you wear. They stay loyal to the man behind it. So many men live with this illusion that loyalty can be bought. They think if they provide enough, if they do enough, if they sacrifice enough, then that automatically guarantees a woman will stay. But here's the truth most men don't want to hear. Loyalty is not something you can buy. It's not something you can force, and it's not something you can demand. Loyalty is earned, and it's earned through who you consistently are, not through what you occasionally do. You see, when a man believes his efforts alone should secure loyalty, he begins to feel entitled. He says, after everything I've done for her, how could she leave me? But loyalty isn't a prize for effort. Loyalty is a response to the emotional reality you create for her. She doesn't stay because of what you did once. She stays because of how you continually make her feel. That's why you'll see women walking away from men who gave them the world and staying with men who gave them less materially, but gave them everything emotionally. A woman can respect what you've done for her, but respect is not the same as loyalty. Respect may acknowledge your effort, but loyalty attaches itself to your consistency, your energy, and your truth. If she feels that your effort was transactional, that you gave only to get something in return, her loyalty will never be secure. Loyalty grows only when she feels that your presence and your actions are authentic, steady, and rooted in something real. Think about it. If you can only hold her attention when you're doing something for her, what happens when you stop? What happens when you no longer give at the same level? If her connection to you is based only on what you do, then it's shallow, and shallow connections never last. But if her connection is built on who you are, the way you show up, the way you treat her, the way you carry yourself, then even when the material fades, her loyalty remains. Men often underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They think loyalty requires big sacrifices, dramatic gestures, constant proving. But the reality is, loyalty is built in the little moments. It's built in the way you listen when she speaks, in the way you keep your word, in the way you remain steady even when life gets tough. These things don't cost money, but they create the kind of emotional foundation that no amount of material effort can replace. And let's be honest, if loyalty could be bought, then every man with resources would have unshakable relationships. But we see the opposite. Some of the wealthiest, most giving men are the ones who get betrayed. Why? Because loyalty has never been for sale. You can buy time, you can buy attention, but you cannot buy the heart. That has to be earned through authenticity, respect, and consistency. Loyalty also requires depth. A woman cannot be loyal to a man she doesn't feel deeply connected to. You can keep her entertained for a while, you can keep her comfortable for a while, but eventually she will crave depth. And if she doesn't find it with you, she will look for it somewhere else. That's why it's dangerous to think doing things is enough, because things are temporary, but emotions are lasting. When you invest in creating an emotional bond, her loyalty anchors itself to you because she knows it's not about what you give, it's about who you are. And here's something most men overlook. Loyalty isn't demanded, it's inspired. You cannot say, be loyal to me because I've done this or that. That only creates pressure, not devotion. Loyalty comes naturally when a woman feels safe, when she feels valued, when she feels seen. It's not a command, it's choice. And the more you try to force it, the less real it becomes. But when you create the right environment, when you consistently show up with integrity, authenticity, and care, loyalty is the natural result. So stop keeping score. Stop thinking of loyalty as a transaction. Stop expecting it just because you've made sacrifices. Loyalty doesn't come because of what you did in the past. It comes because of who you are in the present. Every day, in the small choices you make, in the consistency you bring, in the authenticity you live, you're either building her loyalty or breaking it down.